WHBF is local for you. This is Local 4 News at 5.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Needleman.
And I'm Tiffany Lundberg. Thanks for joining us for Local 4 News at 5.
7 weeks into Illinois' new fiscal year, and there is still no state budget. There hasn't been much progress on a compromise between lawmakers and Governor Bruce Rauner.
Local 4's Sarah Green shows us how local state representatives are addressing that issue.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle in Springfield are working to get a budget past the governor's desk. And two of our local representatives heard from organizations in the Quad Cities that depend on state funding.
I don't see an end in sight. I know that's not encouraging to you, but I like to tell it like it is, whether you like it or you don't like it.
With no state budget since July 1st, Democratic State Representatives Pat Verschoor and Mike Smitty spent the afternoon with local agencies who have already been and will be affected even more if no budget is passed. Some might even have to shut their doors as early as next month. Without the funding, the representatives say it's the people who benefit from the agencies that will be hurt the most. Programs that help with senior assistance, affordable childcare, and cancer screening programs are just a few taking a hit.
Now they're going to have to quit their jobs.
You lose one program and it spirals out.
And the local reps say the way to get that funding back is for the governor to start compromising.
Especially with the governor not coming to the table. Compromise is a word that we need to embrace in Springfield, and unfortunately that hasn't been the case.
At today's meeting, each of the local groups shared with Representatives Smitty and Verschoor how these cuts are continuing to hinder their programs. And I'll have more on that coming up at 6. Sarah Green, Local 4 News at 5.
A full appellate court in Chicago will not take the case of former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich's appeal on his corruption convictions. Blagojevich was trying to convince the full court to overturn more of his 18 convictions. A 3-judge panel got rid of 5 of them last month. Now his lawyers say they'll take it to the U.S. Supreme Court. The 58-year-old is currently doing 14 years in a Colorado prison. Timothy McVeigh will be sentenced in a little less than 2 months for killing Carrie Olson. His punishment will be handed down on October 9th for first-degree murder. McVeigh was convicted of Olson's murder in July. She disappeared in December of 2013. Her body was found in Minnesota 4 months later.
Davenport Mayor Bill Gluba is out of ICU and is making steady progress towards recovery. Now that's according to 5th Ward Alderman Barney Barnhill. Barnhill says the mayor will remain at the University of Iowa hospitals in Iowa City under observation. Gluba was hospitalized 2 weeks ago after a bad reaction to antibiotics he was given to treat a bug bite. His release date is unknown.
Adjusting to the changes at Hamilton Elementary School in Moline will take more than just getting used to new classrooms and equipment.
The larger school with higher attendance has brought more traffic around campus. Local 4's Alice Kang shows us what's being done to deal with this problem.
Ron Clemente and his dog Patty are on their way back home after their morning walk. Clemente lives just off 7th Street in Moline, just across the street from Hamilton Elementary. Tuesday was the first day of school, and he says traffic was a nightmare.
Terrible. It was at a standstill in any direction you wanted to go off 7th Street.
Ron says he isn't sure what could have been done to prevent it. Remember, this year Hamilton has more students than years past because of Garfield Elementary closing down.
No one planned for it that could have made it better. It doesn't appear to me that.
Local 4 News caught up with Lanty McGuire, the superintendent of schools for the Moline School District, at Tuesday night's ribbon cutting. And McGuire says the first day of school was a new day and things should get better over time.
We have the city with the police and the engineers from the city. We're up here today looking at the traffic light, talking to the crossing guards, because all those things have to go into play to try to make this work. So the new building, everybody's got to figure out the patterns, and once we figure that out, I think it'll all work fine.
McGuire is still stressing for drivers to be patient and drive slow around school zones. They've already identified a problem that he believes is adding to the traffic jam.
We know that stoplight's an issue, and we're going to work with the city to try to make that work. So it's not like we're ignoring it. We want this to be a smooth transition also.
But for Ron, one thing's for sure.
I'll avoid it when school starts and when school gets out in the afternoon. Yeah, we'll stay home.
School administrators say there was an automated phone call and email sent to parents of Hamilton to address the traffic issue. Alice Kang, Local 4 News.
An accident this morning shut down a stretch of the Centennial Expressway along the Rock River Bridge. Deputies say a car headed north rear-ended a tractor-trailer on the bridge. It's not clear why the car didn't stop in time. Investigators say the driver of the car was taken to Trinity West with serious injuries. Traffic was back to normal around noon.
Jared Fogle, the former spokesman for Subway restaurants, has agreed to accept a plea deal for child pornography charges. Prosecutors released documents today laying out the charges against Fogle. They accuse the former pitchman of traveling to New York City to pay for sex acts with minors. Under the terms of that plea deal, Fogle has agreed to pay 14 minor victims $100,000 each. He will also have to register as a sex offender.
This is about using wealth, status, and secrecy to illegally exploit children.
The court appearance comes 6 weeks after federal agents seized computers and other evidence from Fogle's home. The plea deal would see Fogle serve between 5 and 12.5 years in prison. And the judge presiding over the Deflategate case says he hopes to rule before the start of the NFL season next month. New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady has been suspended for 4 games without pay due to his alleged role in using low-pressure footballs in last season's Eastern Conference Championship. Neither Brady nor NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell were in court today. The judge is urging both parties to settle, but says Brady and Goodell will be required to attend an August 31st hearing.
Hillary Clinton refuses to let the email controversy surrounding her stop her presidential campaign. She tried to shrug off a reporter's question that asked her if she wiped her private server.
What, like with a cloth or something? Well, no. We turned over everything that was work-related, every single thing.
Clinton says she only withheld personal email and only used the account for non-classified messages. Now, the controversy hasn't turned off her biggest fundraisers. While some recent polls show her losing ground to Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, a Democratic strategist says it's not enough to threaten her lead. A new CNN poll out today shows Donald Trump closed the gap in a head-to-head race with Hillary Clinton to just 6 points. It was 16 points a month ago. Trump stands by his latest controversial policy statement that children of illegal immigrants but born in the United States should not be citizens. He's holding his first town hall meeting in New Hampshire this evening. 6 of his Republican rivals were also in New Hampshire today to take part in an education forum.
Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter will discuss his cancer diagnosis tomorrow at the Carter Center in Atlanta. The 90-year-old said in an announcement last week the disease is spreading through his body. The diagnosis came after surgery on his liver earlier this month. Carter has a history with pancreatic cancer. His 3 siblings and father all died from the disease.
A new study might change the way some cancer patients get treated. Researchers are trying what they call precision medicine to target cancerous tumors. They designed the study to look at specific mutations in the tumor instead of just where the cancer started. They're having success treating different forms of the disease using a drug that targets the mutation.
You're able to select patients appropriately based on the genetics in their tumor and give them an effective therapy.
Researchers looked at more than 120 patients with lung, ovarian, and colorectal cancer.
And meteorologist Ash Simpson joins us now. I actually enjoyed the cooler temperatures today.
Yeah, it was
2 of us.
Yeah, it was much cooler out there. Actually, today was one of those weird days where a high temperature for the day came at 3 a.m. in the morning. So the high temperature day was 72, and that came overnight. Our average is 84, so you can tell we were much cooler out there today. And after it decreased this morning, it only got back up to the mid-60s. I'll have details on a warm-up coming up on Local 4 News at 5.